So, in today's training, in today's episode, we are going to be talking about a question that we get asked often. And that question is it worth it to have a LinkedIn newsletter, especially in 2026? Because people come to us and they're like, I already have a blog, or I have a Substack, or I have a newsletter that I send out already to my email list. Why do I need one for LinkedIn? There's a number of reasons why Nancy and I feel every business professional, whether you're a coach, a consultant, a service professional, a business owner, one of the best ways to build your personal brand, one of the best ways to increase your visibility, one of the best ways to build know, like, and trust with an engaged audience is having a fully functional LinkedIn newsletter. So, what we're going to be talking about today are the benefits to having one if you don't. If you do, maybe you're leaving some money on the table by not doing certain things with your LinkedIn newsletter. So, Nance, is there anything that you wanted to kick off today's training in today's episode with?
Well, I just think it's important. I know that our attention is really being pulled in so many different directions right now, with whether it be platforms and software and different things that you should be doing. And I just really think today we're going to share, that it is a good time investment if you are creating LinkedIn newsletters. And there's so many different perks that I think a lot of people don't even know about. So I really want to touch on that. But, again, we definitely want to optimize our time. We want to spend our times on things, that actually matter. And we're going to kind of showcase that today.
Yep. So, we're going to talk about the reasons why, but also if you're someone that wants to start the process of optimizing your LinkedIn presence, it really does begin with optimizing your LinkedIn profile. So, anyone that's watching on social, whether it be LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook, or anyone's listening on the podcast, we're going to leave a link to a free download that we have called Optimizing Your LinkedIn Profile. It's just 6 steps to really optimizing it the right way for more visibility, appearing in more search results, driving more traffic to it. And if you're watching on social, just type the word me in the comments and we'll send you the link where you can download it and you can start optimizing your profile today. So, where I wanted to kick this off was for the people that do not have a LinkedIn newsletter. So, for those that, there's a couple things that you need to know. Number one, LinkedIn newsletters used to be only a function of people that had quote unquote creator mode. And Nancy, I don't know if you remember back in the day, but there was something called creator mode that you had to actually physically turn on within your LinkedIn profile that would give you access to LinkedIn creator tools, which were LinkedIn Live, LinkedIn newsletters, audio rooms when they were available, which they are not anymore. Now LinkedIn just has quote unquote creator tools. One of those creators tools is newsletters, and everyone can access them. But you have to have at least 150 connections to do so. Now, for those that are wondering how to even start a LinkedIn newsletter, first and foremost, if you are on the homepage to LinkedIn, you're going to see at the very top, it's going to say start a post. And on the right side of that, you're going to see write an article. Now, this is going to take you into what is called LinkedIn publishing. So it's a subset of LinkedIn, not like a post or a poll or an image text, but it's either going to be an individual article, which we don't recommend doing anymore, or creating a LinkedIn newsletter. Now, to do so, all you have to do is click on the manage button on the far right side, and it's going to give you a drop down box where towards the very bottom, you're going to see where it says create a newsletter. Now, all you have to do is when you hit that, you hit create a newsletter, and then it's going to enable you to add a title, a description, the frequency of how often you want to publish your LinkedIn newsletter, and then also an image. Now, using mine as an example, and this is, I would say, one of the biggest benefits when you have your LinkedIn newsletter, you can add it to your featured content section, much like a YouTube channel. There's a subscribe button where people that once this is why we want to give you guys our profile optimization tool, because once your profile is optimized, you're going to drive more traffic to it. And then if you have a LinkedIn newsletter and people go to your featured content section, they can actually click on the subscribe button to get notified when you do publish episodes. So if you were to go into your LinkedIn newsletter and you were going to create it, basically you have to come up with a title, which we recommend something SEO optimized where it's easy for people to find. Mine, for an example, is called LinkedIn Tips and Updates. Nance, what's yours called?
It's personal branding on LinkedIn, I believe, or building your personal brand.
Building your personal brand on LinkedIn. So, and then frequency, there's four different options. There's daily, weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. Nancy and I always recommend either weekly or bi-weekly because daily is, I don't even know who commits to something like that, but monthly, that's better for, I would say, a general newsletter or a blog on a website. The fact of the matter is that I know there's other people on LinkedIn that teach and educate people like the way that I do. And if they're doing it weekly and I'm doing it monthly, guess who's going to get the eyeballs? The person that's doing it more frequently. So that's why weekly and bi-weekly are recommended. You're going to have a newsletter description, letting people know who this newsletter is for and what they can take away from it, and then an image. Now, this could be a personal branded image of you. Some people also will put in maybe a logo if that's what they would like to represent. Now, the Nance, anything you want to chime in with so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, it's all
Okay.
good.
So when you publish your first newsletter edition, there's a few things that happen. Well, number one, you can then add it to your featured content section for visibility. But the amazing thing is this. As soon as you publish your first newsletter edition, LinkedIn automatically invites every single first connection that you have to subscribe to your newsletter. So LinkedIn does everything in its power to get your newsletter as much traction as possible from day one, not a month later. Literally, from day one, for you publishing that first newsletter edition, they're literally sending out. So when I launched my newsletter, I think within 72 hours, I had 1,000 subscribers. I currently have 11,219 to be exact. I've had it for about 3 years. So it is steadily grown each and every year. But the other thing is, those that do subscribe initially and ongoing, anytime you produce a new newsletter edition, they get a push notification in the notification bell area of LinkedIn that you have released a new newsletter edition. But also, LinkedIn personally emails every single subscriber that you have within your newsletter ecosystem your newsletter edition. So they're doing their best to drive traffic to it. And I would say the third and final thing, and then I want Nancy to chime in here, is after the newsletter is up and going, you've published the first edition, they've invited all your first connections. This is why Nancy and I always talk about it's so important to continue to build your network because now, once you have an active newsletter on LinkedIn, number one, when you publish episodes thereafter and you're connecting with people thereafter and they accept your connection request, after they accept a connection request, LinkedIn will then auto invite them automatically to then subscribe to your newsletter. So again, LinkedIn is doing everything in its power to help you grow your newsletter. Nance?
Yeah, I mean, like when you have the platform actually backing you up and sharing your newsletter with people that it, thinks will be interested in the content that you're sharing, when it sends automatic emails and notifications, I mean, that is something that we absolutely want to take advantage of. And here's the thing, we get a lot of people who say, well, I already have an email newsletter, or I already have my own, thing that I send out. Well, here's the thing. You can do both because I do want to remind you guys that a newsletter, yes, obviously it's the same word, but it's treated a little differently, right? A newsletter is kind of like an article just with bells and whistles, right? On LinkedIn. So the fact that it sends out, the email, it lets them know, the fact that it notifies them, the fact that it's pushing it out there for you, for other people that would be interested, the fact that people can subscribe if it's information that is interesting to them. It's just more avenues, right, that we can go down to really helping to build, grow, and nurture our audience. So I say this is absolutely time well spent. And, the thing is every person who is subscribing is saying, hey, I am interested in this, right? So how many people do you have subscribed to your newsletter now, Scott?
I said it a couple minutes
No,
ago.
I know, but how many?
11,219 to be
Right.
exact.
And how many do you think that's really from you, right, pushing it out there and sharing it repeatedly?
All of them.
Well, I mean, but LinkedIn's also helping to support that,
Oh,
right? Yeah.
like me pushing it out there?
Yeah.
I,
I
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like you didn't do that all yourself, right?
No,
With people who,
LinkedIn has like the growth of my LinkedIn newsletter and the subscribers is because of LinkedIn, not because of me. Like
correct. Yeah,
I'm
that's
the
what it,
channel, but LinkedIn
yeah.
helps me grow it by having it searchable in content. It's actually SEO optimized, which I can talk about a little bit because it appears on Google now, but also in the My Network section, just like LinkedIn will recommend people to connect with. LinkedIn also recommends newsletters to subscribe to based on that person's interests and what they do.
Yeah. And also, I mean, right, whenever you connect with every new person, again, right, it will share your newsletter. So the thing is the point that I'm trying to make is you're not doing all this by yourself and having the platform back you and share this and help you get this out. I mean, we've had people who have actually, clients of ours that have actually started a LinkedIn newsletter. And within a matter of a month plus, they're already seeing it grow exponentially. I actually had someone who, was part of a big company, was a client of mine in my agency, and they had said that they weren't doing anything to promote their newsletter, and they had already accumulated 2,000 subscribers in the first, I mean, 3 to 4 months. So really, really cool stuff. Again, we want more eyeballs seeing our stuff. We want to spend our time on things that matter. And, starting a newsletter to me makes very, very much like a lot of sense instead of just doing another thing that might be a time drain. So I really think that it's important to integrate newsletters into your LinkedIn ecosystem. It's absolutely a no-brainer.
Yeah, the final thing I want to finish with is two things. The benefit of a LinkedIn newsletter, again, everything that Nancy and I talk about is driving traffic offline because social media is rented land, including all of the resources that you have within LinkedIn. So the one thing that we always teach is making sure at the bottom of every newsletter you put some sort of call to action that will collect emails compliantly. So an example is we had a workshop that was going on. And for all the newsletter editions that I was releasing, the call to action was don't forget to register for our amateur to expert 5-day workshop. Here's a link to do so. And now that's getting delivered to all these people. They click on it, they put their name and email to register, and now they're in our email ecosystem where they can be nurtured. So the fact is that LinkedIn also sends that entire newsletter edition out via email for them with those clickable links. So now you're getting even more attention. And the other thing is LinkedIn gives you all the analytics that you require for each edition. So after you release each edition, you can actually view the stats and this will tell you everything that you need to know. So, there was almost 3,100 article views. LinkedIn sent nearly 6,000 emails, and the open rate was 33%, which I don't know any other social media platform that emails out newsletters on your behalf and gives you all these statistics. And the fact that I have a 33% email open rate, that means 1,800 people out of the 6,000 actually opened and read this, which is really empowering to get in front of that many people. The other thing that I wanted to mention and close out with before we finish today's training in today's episode is something that I spoke about a few minutes ago about SEO optimization. So when you're writing your LinkedIn newsletter editions and where that manage button was that I told you guys on the right-hand side, the first thing that you'll see when you do click on the manage button is something called settings. And when you click on settings, you can actually create a custom URL for each one of your individual newsletter editions that you can add to an email distribution list that you have to send out to your email list subscribers that would basically backlink them back on the LinkedIn to connect with them there. But also you can put an SEO title and an SEO description in place of the title that you have on LinkedIn and description. And again, this is for Google search. So again, LinkedIn not only wants to help you optimize your presence on LinkedIn, but they want you to be more searchable and more found on Google because Microsoft, which owns LinkedIn, has a partnership with Google as well. So they're literally doing everything in their power to try to help you to gain exposure. And that's why, not just in 2026, but in beyond, it is so important to have a LinkedIn newsletter. Now, before we end today's episode and today's training, a reminder that the optimization process starts before the newsletter. It starts with your profile. So, again, if you're listening on the podcast and you'd like to download our free infographic on how to optimize your LinkedIn profile, all you have to do is click the link in the description. If you're watching on social, Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, just type the word me in the comments and we will send you the link to get your profile optimized. So, everyone, please enjoy the rest of your days. Love and gratitude, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye-bye.